Terre Haute live on Fox Sports Net.
Indiana, if not the birthplace of college basketball, its down-home fans consider the 5-on-5 challenge to be almost a birthright. Its heroes, like that lanky kid from French Lick, Larry Bird, Larry Legend, and their coaches, big, outspoken, defiant, yet honored in victory. They are part of a past where tradition and winning was the recipe for future success. The landscape in Indiana is changing. Bobby Knight is gone. The red sweater and the cold stare replaced by a kinder, gentler commander. Larry left years ago, took with him the last Indiana State championship. But there's a new attitude at Indiana State. They are a team on the rise. Last year, winning the conference title and an NCAA tournament bid for the first time since Bird. And Indiana, a team with a new coach, looking for a new identity, yet clinging to a winning attitude forged by Coach Knight. Tonight, the new Indiana Hoosiers travel across town to battle the Sycamores of Indiana State as a new chapter in college basketball begins on Fox Sports Net.
10,000 strong at the Holman Center on the campus of Indiana State. Tonight, a great showdown in college basketball is renewed in Terre Haute. For the first time since 1908, the Indiana Hoosiers from the Big Ten take on the Indiana State Sycamores. Last December, the Indiana State Sycamores traveled to Bloomington to take on Bob Knight's Hoosiers in the Indiana Classic. Kellen Block with 17 points, and Matt Wren with 15 led the Sycamores. The game, though, came down to a last-second three-point shot by Luke Jimenez. That missed, and Indiana State had pulled off the upset. They beat the Hoosiers for the first time since 1924. The defeat at home hurt, and Indiana lost for the first time in history in their own tournament. Tonight would only come too soon for the Hoosiers. IU, led by interim head coach Mike Davis, arrived on the scene with his squad at 6:33 tonight in Terre Haute. Hi, everybody. Welcome to college basketball. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're in Terre Haute, Indiana. Certainly glad to have you along here on Fox Sports Net. In just a moment, we'll hear from Ron Thulin and also PJ Carlissimo as they bring you tonight's action. Simply put, this is the hottest ticket in the state of Indiana. This game can be described in one word: revenge, as the Hoosiers look to get back at the Sycamores for what they did to them a year ago, a three-point loss at home. So it should be an outstanding matchup in game one of our doubleheader here on Fox Sports Net. In game number two, we'll send it out west to the Pac-10 as Arizona will take on Gonzaga. Of course, the Wildcats, a number 5 team in the country, coming off a loss this weekend. They'll be without Lauren Woods, a perennial All-American, sitting out his 5th game of a 6-game suspension. And in this series, these two teams have never met. And remember, Gonzaga is 6-2. 6-2, folks, the last 2 years when taking on the Pac-10. But before we get to that game, let's send it over to Ron and PJ with a preview of tonight's game. It should be a great game here in Terre Haute. Guys?
Absolutely, Dan. And, of course, the story of this game just might be right in the middle. If you're Indiana State, PJ, you're a little concerned that Indiana has those big bodies. They've got to do something to thwart that. But it all starts for Indiana with Kirk Hastings.
Absolutely. Kirk Hastings, the junior center for the Hoosiers, 26 points, 28 rebounds in the last 2 games against Indiana State. He's averaging double-doubles. 3 of the first 4 games he's got the doubles for the Hoosiers. He will clearly be the focus of the Sycamore defense.
Now, for Indiana State, they returned 4 of the 5 starters that won the Missouri Valley Conference last year, but they've got to get some scoring. Right now, their leading scorer is Matt Wren, but he has to do more than just score tonight.
He's the heart and soul of the Indiana State team. He's a blue-collar guy. He is their leading scorer and rebounder so far, but more importantly, he gets the matchup against the opponent's best big man. He's going to be playing much bigger and stronger players tonight. Don't forget, though, Matt, 15 points, 6 rebounds in the win at Bloomington last year.
State pride is on the line. The 20th meeting between these two teams, the last time they played here was 1908. The crowd is ready. So are we. Tip-off straight ahead.
I'm Dr. Norman Gary, and I'm a bee expert. All right, bee.
Dr. Norman Gary will do some pretty outrageous things.
I've been stung probably around 75,000 times.
But would Norm Gary ever get car insurance that didn't come with a State Farm agent?
Car insurance with no State Farm agent? Now that makes me nervous.
For car insurance, be like this State Farm customer.
Enjoy.
And get an agent you can rely on.
Here, have some more.
Plus competitive rates.
As they come
Hey, what's happening, B?
Nothing. Just chilling. Watching the game. Having a bud. What's up with... Hold on a second. Hello?
What's that? Yo, hold up. Hello?
So what's up, B?
Nothing. Watching the game, having a bud.
My name is Ryo Hazuki. Since my father's death at the hand of Lon D, I've been engaged in a quest for vengeance. That explains the martial arts training, the dangerous addiction to billiards, and my association with Nozomi. Now, if you'll let me go, I wish to resume my journey.
Shenmue on Dreamcast. Rated T for teen.
Need help sending gifts? We've got extra staff and longer hours to relieve that holiday stress. Just stop by your local mailboxes, etc. We'll take it from here. This holiday season, shop on eBay.com and get preferred pricing on shipping from mailboxes, etc.
Welcome back. A crowd of almost 11,000, a sellout crowd on hand for Indiana State. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. First of all, for the visiting Indiana Hoosiers, and if you take a look at their front court, the young star Jared Jeffries, the young freshman from Bloomington, will be starting at one forward. Haston also starting. Jeffrey Newton, only his second start of the year. And in the backcourt, it'll be Tom Coverdale, the sophomore out of Noblesville, Indiana. Joining him will be Dane Fife, who has started every game this year. And, of course, the head coach in his first season, Mike Davis, who has handled all the adversity and all the attention quite well this year. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Sycamores of Indiana State. Jabril Conti, the junior out of Bloomington, Indiana, will be at one forward. Geeson in the middle, Wren at the other forward. And in the backcourt, keep an eye on Michael Menser, the senior out of Batesville, Indiana. He'll be joined in the backcourt by Keelan Block, the junior out of Kansas City, Kansas. And the head coach, Royce Waltman, in his fourth year, graduate of Slippery Rock. And Indiana will be in their familiar red jerseys. Indiana State will be in the white trimmed with blue, and we are just about set. And I think the point you bring up right away, PJ, this is really Indiana's first away game, not including the NIT, which was sort of a neutral crowd.
No question, Ryan. It's going to be real interesting to see how this young team reacts to crowd adversity.
Block out front, going nowhere quickly. Measure Wren. Wren gets a step, has to kick it out. That is his spot, the three. Doesn't get it. Rebound will be controlled by Haston.
Both teams very patient. Both teams great defensive teams. Look for long possessions on the offensive end.
Indiana, the trend so far here in the early going, they have been outscored in the first half rather handily by some 36 points. In the second half, they seem to really turn it on. But they start out slowly for head coach Mike Davis.
I think it takes these young guys a little while to settle in. Even the veteran players, though, have had a lot of first-half problems.
5 freshmen on this Indiana roster. No seniors on the team. Geeson butts up with him. Haston's turnaround won't go. Blocked with a rebound.
Only one shot, but that's a good sign. I can assure you the Indiana State coach is delighted to see that first shot not go down.
Indiana State will retain possession. Excellent job by Conte. To Wren. Jeffries giving him some room. Again to Conte. Back to Menser. His three gets hit. He makes it, and he's fouled.
Michael Menser with his second good look. Jabril Conte sensed the help defense, knocked it back out to him. We see the good help. Both of these teams like to help. Coverdale goes down, leaves Menser open. You can't do that. Michael Menser will make you pay.
And the foul was on Coverdale, his first personal. And Menser at the line, 4 of 7 from the stripe here in the early going. And he gives the Sycamores the early 4-0 lead. Just about a minute and a half gone by. Here's Tom Coverdale, the sophomore out of Noblesville, Indiana. Only 10 games played last year. Is very solid running the point. finds the opening. Menser almost strips it. Fight in the lane, gives it up. Haston the long jumper, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Kirk Hastings' ability to hurt you not only inside, but real good range on that jump shot.
Now Indiana State take it way out front. Crowd very quiet at this point. Menser almost lost the handle, regains plenty of time on the shot clock. Indiana State picked third in the Missouri Valley Conference. Decent shot, no good, but we have a whistle and a foul away from the ball, and it will be called on Conte. That'll be his first personal, first team foul. Jabril Conte, they're expecting big things from him this year. He's dropped about 30 pounds. But he plays on one speed, they're telling us today, full speed all the time. Haston showing the complete repertoire here in the early going. Run looking to push it. Gives it up. Conte pulls up. 15-footer. Doesn't get it. Rebound. Dane Fife comes out of the back. As Coverdale on the left. Gives it up to Jeffries, the young freshman. In the paint. And he is fouled. And that's going to be a push. And it may be on Conte again.
That's bad news, excuse me, Ronnie, for Indiana State. They need Jabril Conte on the floor if they're going to have any success combating this big Indiana front line. Jared Jeffries is very unusual, heralded player, parade All-American, clearly one of the best freshmen in the country. But the ability to put the ball on the floor and beat you with the dribble, the shot, and also a very good passer.
And Jeffries gets them both, and Indiana on the board. 4-4 is our score. One of the Achilles heel for the Hoosiers this year has been their free throw shooting. As a team, they're only at 51%. Jeffries was at 45 prior to those two. Menser out front, shot clock inside of 15. Block, working on Fife. No place to go. Fife staying away right with him. Then he has it taken away. Haston comes down with it. Coverdale will lead the right side. Have you noticed the difference in style of Indiana from Coach Knight and Coach Davis?
Mike Davis wants to push the ball up a little more, and they say they're running more sets in the half court, a little bit less of the motion offense, which has been the Indiana trademark over the years.
Haston walked with it, will go the other way. Indiana very good with the basketball. They only turn it over about 16 times a game.
Interestingly enough, Royce Waltman, a former Indiana assistant, they run motion offense. You'll see Indiana State on offense looking a little bit more like Indiana teams of the past.
They're already with a 3 in the ball game. So far, the Indiana postgame has not really hurt Indiana State. Indiana State said offensively they just want to do what they've done. Haston has a breakaway. Everybody blocks everybody out. Haston takes it to the hole. And we've got a player down. Geeson is down. Haston now with 4 in the ball game. And he's holding the right knee.
Brian Geeson got the start tonight. Royce Waltman will change his starting lineup. Obviously against the bigger, stronger Indiana team inside, Brian Geeson got the opportunity to start.
Geeson averaging just about 5 points and 3 rebounds a game, making his only his second start. May have stepped on a foot. Let's take a look at it again.
Missteps right there. I think he got hooked up with Kirk Haston on the steal. Kirk, with good anticipation, stepped into the passing lane, and as he pushed off to head down court, looked like he might have crossed legs with Brian Geeson. Geeson's still yet to get up, sitting now with trainer David Ralston.
Well, now you look at Geeson, he is going to be helped off the court, but then you have Conte on the bench with 2 personal fouls, and now Royce Waltman's looking at his bench saying somebody has to step up. Those are 2 of our big guns.
He's going to be going deep into the bench. They're going to be playing a lot smaller than Royce Waltman wants to play. Michael Kernan, a redshirt freshman, practiced yesterday for one of the few times. Worked out once or twice down in Puerto Rico. We're going to see Terrence Avery now on the floor for Indiana State.
Number 11, Matt Perry's checked into the lineup, the freshman out of Tulsa, Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma, home of Wayman Tisdale. solid program in the state of Oklahoma. 2 state championships in the last 4 years. Avery, the right-handed shot won't go. Rebound controlled by Jeffrey Newton. Shane Fife, who's been a much heralded recruit. Defensively, he has lived up to his expectations. Offensively, maybe not for the Hoosiers. Haston just doing everything he wants to do right now. Taken away, though, by Indiana State. We have a whistle and a foul, and that will be on Haston.
I think he got a little frustrated there, Ronnie, as he turned to shoot it. He lost the ball going up.
Now we've got a timeout. Royce Waltman knows the intensity of this game, and so do the players. Timeout. Indiana by 2.
Welcome again to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Streeter going to work. Room out there for Mal Warrior Group.
This is a test. If the play you are currently viewing triggers captivation, a surge of adrenaline, or drool, then you are ready for this year's Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This is only a test.
Warrior couldn't hang on. He got blasted by Josh Morgan. But that's the second time tonight that Josh has come up.
Çünkü güzel şehrimiz Diyarbakır'a.
This season in South Park, there's no going back.
Whoa, dude. Everything's written in some strange foreign language. Okay, that's cool. You have to open the pod bay doors.
I'm not afraid.
Ew, where are we? Playtime is over. South Park, the 4th grade years. All new episodes tonight at 9, only on Comedy Central. This Thanksgiving, love is in the air.
I'm gonna get some bobbies. That'll be the day.
Rep cars on the loose.
Wow, rep cars boogers look just like your toy car.
And Paris
Wee-wee.
will never be the same.
Wow, a body that squirts you back.
Rugrats in Paris, the movie.
Which one of you babies put your poopy diaper in my suitcase?
Rated G starts Friday, November 17th.
These two teams have met 19 times, but only 4 times since 1960-61. Indiana State, of course, won last year 63-60 in Bloomington. Indiana leading the overall series 16-3, and right now they lead this game 6-4. PJ Carlismo, Ron Tulowitzki, Dan McLaughlin, our host. We're glad you're with us tonight for college basketball here on Fox Sports Net. Anything you see in the early going?
Well, Indiana State has a lid on the basket. They're 1 for 7 from the field, and yet they're in decent shape. I mean, the scoreboard not hurting them at all. I think Royce's obvious concern, the foul trouble for Jabril, and now with Deason hurt on top of that, they're really thin in the front court.
Block lets it fly, doesn't get it. Avery had nice position. Terrence Avery, the junior out of West Frankfort, Illinois. He's in kind of a tough situation. He wants more minutes, but you have to play better to get more minutes. But he has worked extremely hard on his defense in the offseason. Nice up and under move, and he is going to be rejected by Newton. Newton's 10th block already this year in just his 5th game. Newton had it go right off his hands. We'll go the other way with it. Inside of 15 minutes, Indiana by 2. Menser started the game with the 3 and the foul shot. That's been pretty much their scoring right now. Coverdale quickly up on him. Indiana attacking on defense. Menser's pull up from 14, difficult shot. Haston the rebound.
Well, that's not Michael Menser's game, but again, Indiana State struggling to come up with the good look. He tried to create it himself.
Indiana last won the Big Ten title in 1993. In the cloud of controversy since September, but these young men have handled it extremely well. Now they're just focusing on what they do best, play basketball. Haston looking for somebody. Coverdale comes out on top. The pump fake has it knocked away. Clean block. Here comes Matt Wren. Quickly up court. Matt Berry to the hole. Off balance. Doesn't get it. He takes a seat on the court.
Stumbled over his own feet. Again, both teams doing a good job with help defense. You put the ball on the floor, you move it, someone's going to be there to help out.
Well, Newton had position, and all Matt Wren could do is just hold on to him. And that'll be Wren's first personal, 3rd team foul here in the early going.
Sometimes the best look is to go just in right over the top right there. No help coming from the weak side that play. Matt Wren got caught on the top side, and Indiana wisely delivered it right over the top.
Andre Owens is checked into the lineup, the freshman, number 20 from Indianapolis. He is quite a point guard, has a lot of confidence in his game as Fife loses the handle. Indiana State had the numbers, and they'll hold it up. Avery inside for the jam, count it.
Great look in transition right there. You talked about them having the numbers. Indiana got 3 guys back, but that first trailer got down the floor, and they couldn't get matched up inside. You see the look right there. He pulls up, finds the 7th man down the floor. He's wide open. Indiana got 3 guys back on defense, but the 7th man down the floor was an Indiana State big man. They didn't get back to play it. So he pulls up and makes a real good look.
And the foul goes on Newton, his first personal. And Avery completes the 3-point play. He's averaging right at 8 points a ball game. And again, Indiana State has regained the lead, 7-6. About 6.5 gone by here in the opening half. Jeffries has been quiet. Wren doing a nice job on him. The spin move, Avery comes over for some help defense, but Newton's there for the tip.
Problem with help defense, when you come over and leave your man to help out, if a guard does not rotate back, you're very susceptible to offensive rebounds.
Well, Block lost the handle. He thought it was tipped, but it belonged to Indiana. Royce Waltman is in front of the crowd of well over 10,000 at the Holman Center in Terre Haute, Indiana, for Indiana and Indiana State, the Lynn State battle. With P.J. Colosimo and Dan McLaughlin, I'm Ron Thune. Glad you're with us right now with Indiana leading by 3. As Jeffries gets his first field goal of the ball game.
No mystery what Mike Davis wants. He's yelling every time down the floor, get it inside. He wants to pound it inside. Get those easy looks. I'm not sure he wants to get to the free throw line the way Indiana's been shooting free throws.
Wren trying to pump fake, coming out of the pack of freshman Berry. Block to the hole, finger roll. With Geeson out of the lineup, and also with Conte out and 2 fouls, Block is definitely the man that has to step up right now. Jeffries turnaround, no place to go, almost walked with it. Fight. Very reluctant to shoot the basketball. From the outside, a big 5-0 Jeffrey Newton, the sophomore out of Atlanta, shows he has some range. Newton with 4 in the ball game. And a 3-point lead by Indiana, the biggest lead for either team, except for the 4-0 lead Indiana State had to start the ball game. Berry lets it fly for 3. He rolls it down.
Ronnie, that's a good-looking freshman. I like his size. I like the way he moved yesterday at practice, and he plays with a lot of confidence for a young guard.
I talked to the coaches about him. They said that one thing, exuberance. That's the way he plays. Now Indiana turns it over. Tied at 12. Menser gives it up. Wren back to Menser. Gives it up. Avery, the little short thumper.
The difference that time, Michael Menser created with his penetration. He got into the lane, drew the help, laid it back, and Terrence Avery with the finish.
Well, 14-12 our score. Indiana State regaining the lead. Coverdale with a scoop shot. His first 2 of the ball game.
Former Indiana Mr. Basketball, you should not be able to drive all the way to the rim against either of these teams.
Avery again with the right hand, and he has 7 in the ball game. Well, now this young man we talked about, he wanted more minutes. He may be earning them right now in the early going.
He's going to get an opportunity tonight.
Owens to Newton. Newton being guarded by Avery. That is his weak point, his defense. Berry trying to get a hand on it. Jeffries took it away from him. Royce Waltman doesn't like it. Newton inside for 2.
Well, that's a big play. You saw the 2 freshmen going after the ball. Jared Jeffries came up with it. The result, an easy 2 points for Jeff Newton.
Well, this Indiana State team got into the NCAA tournament this past season for the first time since Larry Bird, and they got their first at-large bid. Avery's right-handed hook. You can see Indiana's big men doubling up on Indiana State here in the early going. Jeffries inside, spin move, short, Menser rebound. Doug with 16.
Good move. Just doesn't have the strength yet to finish that play inside.
Keelan blocked. They thought he had a double dribble. Didn't do it. It was knocked out of his hands, and he's got the 2. Oh, Mike Davis didn't like that.
Both coaches a little animated, but we've got a common crew here. These officials work both the Big Ten and the Missouri Valley.
Newton's wild shot won't go. Jeffries trying to tippy-toe around Michael Menser.
Good no call there.
Absolutely. That's an oops. Wren really having his problems. Avery rejected by Newton, and we have a whistle and a foul, and Mike Davis's jacket comes off. That was one continuous play, the foul and the jacket win. Now let's go back to that previous play and see if Block double dribble.
Keelan Block with the ball. He uses the Terrence Avery screen.
Well, it was hit. He did the right thing. Well, it looked like the ball was hit. He just dropped it, which is the right thing to do.
The ball was hit. Mike Davis talking to Mike Sanzier right now. He's saying the ball never left Keelan Block's hands, and if he's right, that is a double dribble. Far be it for me to second-guess an official.
You've never done that, have you? Avery already with 8 in the ball game as Newton picked up his second personal foul, which sort of helps Indiana State, getting one of the big guys out there. Avery's second one can't find the mark. Indiana State holding on to a 3-point advantage. Odell in the ball game for Indiana, whistling a foul away from the basketball. Things are getting a little tense now. We've got a timeout with 9:17 to play. Coverdale with the scoop shot for 2, but Indiana trails by 3.
It's not just about saving money. It's about spending time, just dropping by and creating bonds rather than simply buying them. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Where can you find a soybean that yields up to 3.5 bushels better in reduced tillage? Introducing residue-proven varieties from Asgrow. Soybeans bred specifically for fast emergence, strong disease resistance, and yields up to 3.5 bushels higher in reduced tillage systems. Look for the new residue-proven Arrow at your Asgrow dealer. It's your sign of a more profitable soybean.
I'd open my car, open the sunroof, play CDs and rockets to Rusty's for Byzantine cuisine. Presto, I am happy as a tattoo on a supermodel. This is the wild neon life.
Get a $2,500 cash allowance or low financing on 2000 model year Dodge Neons.
Welcome back to college basketball on Fox Sports Net. We are inside the Holman Center in Terre Haute, Indiana for Indiana and Indiana State, where Indiana State leads by 3. We had an injury early on with Brian Geeson of Indiana State. Dan, what's the update on him?
Well, the 6'7" senior just went under for x-rays. They said right now he has a strained right knee. He may return to this game, though, guys. They have not ruled out his return to this game against the Hoosiers.
I tell you, they have to have another big body in there. Conte has come back in. He's playing with 2 fouls. Blocked the high. Arthur draws range.
Keelan Block again uses a pick, hides behind it, arches back and knocks down the J.
Jared Odell and also Kyle Hornsby into the lineup for Indiana. Coverdale inside, another little scoop shot. It won't go. Red had it, lost it. Menser comes up with it.
Nothing coming easy inside for either team. Mismatch inside right there. Menser's trying to get it down into Matt Wren. Coverdale playing him.
Inside. Conte can't get it. Hasting the rebound. Jeffries will come back in the lineup. This is the biggest lead for either team. It is at 5. Fife out front. Gives it up. Coverdale, a spot shooter. He gives it up, and Odell gets his first 2 of the ball game.
Jared Odell left wide open and makes them pay.
You know, Indiana lulls you to keep looking inside, but then when Coverdale has that outside shot, then Odell, you've got to be very cognizant of that. Forte gets the 2.
They're a very good perimeter shooting team, Ron. It's just that Mike wants them to go inside for obvious reasons. That's where their strength is, particularly in this night's matchup.
Orsby gives it off, hits Odell's foot, goes out of bounds, and the Sycamores will have it. Jeffries will come back into the lineup, but we have a timeout. It's a 5-point lead for Indiana State over the Hoosiers of Indiana.
It's the fastest growing sport in the country. A sport defined by performance, determination, and teamwork. The pros know when conditions lean to the extreme, you got to go with the performance. And the 66 team is driven to perform. To protect your engine start to finish, drive with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Premium Quality Motor Oil.
Proof again that Phillips 66 is the performance company.
My name's John Woolard. I rescue alligators for a living.
John Woolard is one brave guy.
It's pretty exciting.
But would John Woolard ever insure his car with some kind of cut-rate car insurance?
Cut-rate car insurance? I'm not that brave.
When it comes to car insurance, why take a chance? Be like this State Farm customer and get an agent you can rely on, plus competitive rates.
Go on now.
So, I hope you like lobster.
Everything all right?
Fine.
I'm sorry.
Biggest lead of the ball game. Indiana State leads it by 5, 23-18, with 7:41 left in the first half. Coming up later tonight, it's the National Sports Report. The National Sports Report featuring news, opinions, and highlights from a fresh perspective. That'll be coming up tonight after our college basketball doubleheader. Check your local listings. And, of course, Bill Russell will have an open mic. Terry Bradshaw and Tim Brown will be on the National Sports Report, plus an update on the Ray Caruth trial. First, second game of our doubleheader, Gonzaga against Arizona. Steve Physiak, Marcus Johnson standing by for that one. Right now, you can see Indiana at 50%. The Sycamores at 39%. But for Indiana, 7 turnovers in the game. And Avery has his 10th point in the contest.
Avery's been a real presence inside. You hit it right on the head. They're shooting the ball better than Indiana State, and they're out-rebounding, but they're turning the ball over, and Indiana State is capitalizing.
Jeffries has been quiet. Haston back into the ball game. Inside, Odell has position, having trouble finding the basketball. 3 white jerseys surround him, and they pick his pocket. Matt Browerman's checked into the lineup for Indiana State, number 40, the sophomore out of Hamilton, Ohio.
Indiana State, after a 1-for-7 start, is now 8 for their last 16, as they've clearly settled down on the offensive end.
And that's the reason why, right there. Avery misses the short jumper, Odell the rebound, outlets it to Hornsby. Avery has really stepped up. Quick update, by the way, on Brian Geeson. He is out, will not be back in the ball game because of that knee problem. Odell from the outside, he buries the jumper.
Saw a double team inside that time. They recognized it right away. Kirk Hastings delivered it outside. Jared Odell off to a good start.
Out of Converse, Indiana. The word on him is that he does play in spurts, and right now Indiana State's bench has stepped up to the challenge with Geeson out. And with Conte with 2 fouls, and he's out of the lineup right now. Bryce Waltman doesn't want to take any chance of having him in his lineup with 2 fouls early on. 7 to shoot, block lost the handle, that'll be a double dribble, we'll go the other way. Terrence Avery's done a nice job so far tonight.
He's worked for position all night. He's got good position right there, good layoff, and he's just up and off the glass. It's a great idea for young players, particularly when you're playing against a taller front line. You arc the ball and use the backboard. Almost impossible to block a shot without goaltending when you shoot it that high.
Hornsby coming off that knee problem last year. Tipped away, another turnover. The 9th turnover for the Hoosiers in this ball game. Block for 3. Doesn't get it. Tipped around. Wren fights for it. Menser has it. Block has it. Matt Browerman won't go. Still knocked around. Wren is all over the place. He's just trying to keep the ball alive.
It was Matt Wren that created the turnover on the other end. The last couple possessions, you've seen Indiana State come with the double team, big on big. One big man gets it, the opposing defensive big man comes over and doubles up.
Jared Jeffries, who grew up just a few miles from Assembly Hall. And it'll belong to Indiana State again. Dan McLaughlin, you were in the huddle of Indiana State during the timeout. What did Royce Waltman have to say?
Well, guys, and PJ, you really mentioned it. He talked about Matt Wren. He said the 6'6 junior really has to step up and play on the defensive end. That double team that you talk about, PJ, caused a couple of turnovers. Exactly what he was talking about in that last huddle.
Well, you're getting Indiana State to do things they don't usually do, and that's cough the ball up. Avery way high post. Odell stays with him. Now Avery, the spin move, the turn, had a good look at it, didn't get it, and it'll belong to Indiana State.
But Terrence Avery's doing a real good job working for possession inside. We talked about Indiana trying to hurt Indiana State inside. The Sycamores having an awful lot of success, particularly posting up Terrence Avery. Another real good freshman on the floor. I like these 2 freshman guards for Indiana State.
This is Marcus Howard out of Elgin, Illinois. He is probably the best defensive player for the Sycamores. He is going to hang with you. Saw him warming up, and he was draining threes left and right tonight. Spencer looked at it, gave it up. Howard baseline, lets it fly, buries it.
On cue, Ronnie, good call. The freshmen on both of these teams do not realize what freshmen are supposed to do in November and December of their freshman season.
That's only his 2nd field goal of his collegiate career. He's now 2 of 6 shooting the basketball. Jeffrey sees the double from Avery and Wren. Somebody has to be open. Fight on top, Menser on him. Good matchup because Fight won't shoot the ball usually. Hornsby from outside, a good pure shooter, doesn't get it. Avery the rebound. The lead is 7. Biggest of the ball game for the Sycamores. Jeffries, nice job defensively, cutting off the baseline of Wren. Wren to the hole, gets Jeffries up in the air, and he draws the whistle and the foul.
See the Sycamores changing sides of the floor. Real good ball movement. Michael Menser with the penetration. Finds the open guy. Freshman, great pullback jump shot. That's a good look. He thought he was going to get himself a 3. Couldn't quite get there. But Royce Waltman will happily settle for those 2. Matt Wren. Matt Wren saw that he had Jared Jeffries on him, and even though Jeffries moves his feet well, he put it on the floor, tried to take him in, and went with the up and under fake, but unable to convert the first one.
Well, he was on the preseason Missouri Valley Conference all-conference team, and he gets 1 of 2. Royce Waltman can pump the fist. His team leads by 8 with 3:28 left to play in the half.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Introducing a shockingly refreshing new lemon lime. Sierra Mist.
Come on, Joey, let's have some of Grandma's old recipe ice cream.
Wow, it sure looks good.
It is, Joey. There's a whole world of wonderful flavors in her old recipe ice cream. It starts with fresh cream and cane sugar, then in go all kinds of other great tasting treats.
Gosh, did Grandma make it herself?
Of course not, Joey. She goes to the store and buys it like everybody else.
Taste the premium quality of old recipe ice cream from Prairie Farms.
On these roads of life, you're going to find butchers, bakers, and probably the occasional candlestick maker. Moms, dads, aunts, and uncles picking kids up, dropping stuff off, saying goodbye, and coming home. Marathon knows these roads of life well, and we'll be there to make sure everyone feels a little bit better about traveling them.
An American company, serving America, Marathon.
Indiana State leading just before the half, 28-20. Coming up at the half, we'll sit down with the new head coach at Indiana. Been a whirlwind 4 months for Mike Davis, an exclusive with the Indiana head coach. Also, we'll preview Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up tonight. We'll go out west for that preview. Also, stats and highlights from the first half. Guys, all coming up at the half right here on Fox Sports Net.
All right, thanks very much, Dan McLaughlin. Glad to have you part of our crew tonight. PJ Carlissimo also here. I'm Ron Thulin. We've got 3:28 left in the half. 28-20, Indiana State leading Indiana. Right now, if you're Indiana, you look at the fact that you've turned the ball over 10 times in this first half. Odell from outside barely nicks the rim.
A little quick in the clock, I think. I don't think Mike Davis wants him to shoot it that quick.
Block, tough fall-away shot halfway down. Avery is there for the follow.
That rebound gets Indiana State back almost even, 15-14 now. IU on the boards. Couple that with the Indiana turnovers, and that's why Indiana State is sitting on a 10-point lead.
And Avery has 12 in the ball game and the 11th turnover. Here comes Wren. Growerman spotting up. Wren doesn't see him. Growerman, number 40 for Indiana State. He is a pure shooter. Now they're trying to get something for Block, who sets the pick. Growerman pops out. Shot clock at 15. Wren posting up on Jeffries. Tries an up and under. Jeffries got a piece of it, and he also draws the whistle in the foul.
Tough call there. Jared Jeffries did about everything he could do defensively. He maintained good position. He stayed between Matt Wren and the basket. Tough touch call right there. Sam Banks thought there was a little bit too much contact. He's going to put Matt Wren back on the free throw line.
Jeffries is impressive, not so much offensively tonight because he only has 4 points in the ball game, but defensively he works extremely hard for a freshman.
Well, anybody that's going to play for either of these coaches is going to have to work on the defensive end. But Jared Jeffries, you can't help but be impressed. The size, the quickness, he can put it on the floor. He passes it well. He's got a good shooting touch. He's got a very good feel for the game. The obvious two ingredients that he still needs, strength and experience, and they're both going to come.
Well, Wren gets them both. Kirk Haston and Tom Coverdale have checked back in for the Hoosiers. And the lead is at 12. Now it's the biggest lead of the game, and it doesn't. Indiana came out like gang fires, but they struggled since. Haston, Avery straight up on him. Browerman tries to help with a double. Good defensive job by Avery. Now Avery tries to go over top. Thought he had it, didn't get it. Now the officials are telling the Indiana coaching staff to be careful because they're about 3 or 4 feet out on the floor.
Well, they're making their point, but again, I think for the way this game is being played, both coaches have been real good. These teams are being aggressive, and officials got to let the coaches say a little something on the sideline.
We've got a timeout with 2:03 to play in the half. Indiana State by a dozen.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Introducing a shockingly refreshing new lemon lime. Sierra Mist.
As soon as he hit 30, Dad started losing his hair.
I had it when I needed it.
So I knew it could be in the cards for me. And at the first sign of fallout, I checked it out with a dermatologist. And he said Rogaine every day, right at the source of the problem. I've used Rogaine for 2 years now, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have.
Rogaine. Recommended more by dermatologists than any other treatment.
It's stronger than heredity.
Need help sending gifts? We've got extra staff and longer hours to relieve that holiday stress. Just stop by your local mailboxes, etc. We'll take it from here. This holiday season, shop on eBay.com and get preferred pricing on shipping from mailboxes, etc.
Just about 2 minutes left in the half, and Indiana State leads Indiana by 12. Just a programming note, the last word, Jim Rome tells it like it is on the Nightline of Sports talk shows, weeknights at 6:30 and 11:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings, and you have to tune in to see what Jim Rome has to say. I don't always agree with my good buddy Jim, but he sure does make you think. How about that for a stat, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you, the freshman guards have helped for Indiana State, but Terrence Avery's been the difference so far, and very little help off the Indiana bench. A couple of field goals from Jared Odom. Indiana State overcame some early foul trouble and an injury, and their bench has really stepped up big. Jared Jeffries again springs loose on the underneath out-of-bounds play and gets way too easy a look.
In case you just joined us, Brian Geeson, the big center for Indiana State. He left early on with a knee problem, and he is not expected to return tonight. As we look at Jared Jeffries, probably the most celebrated big man recruit that Indiana has signed since Alan Henderson, who's now in the NBA. I think Hoosier fans breathed a huge sigh of relief when he put his name on the dotted line to play for Indiana. Lead down to 11. We talked early on in the program how Indiana starts out slowly, trails by an average of 9 points a ball game in the first half, and they're continuing that trend tonight.
Absolutely.
Menser's high arcer, and he draws rain in a two.
Tough shot by Michael Menser, but that's where he makes his living.
You know, the coaches and the team, they just talk about him being an inspiration. Coverdale's going to be whistled for the offensive foul. He did get up that left forearm.
Another Indiana turnover. Menser with real good position. See him moving his feet. He stays in front of Coverdale. This is two Indiana players. You saw Menser was a runner-up for Mr. Basketball. Coverdale was Mr. Basketball. That's a great matchup at the point.
And they were talking during warm-ups before the game. Not much talking there. How about after that turnover, Jared Jeffries, the freshman, telling his teammates to calm down. Briarman's shot won't go. Avery tries to, Wren keeps it alive, but he throws it right into the hands of Dane Fife. Fife almost walked with it. Jeffries quickly sees the double, goes up and under, and he'll go back to the line on the push foul.
Good recognition that time by Jared Jeffries inside. He had the ball. He had the big man on his top side. Before the help could get there, he pivoted and split the defenders, got it up on the board.
That's not too bad numbers for Jared Jeffries. He's now just 3 of 5 from the line here in the first half. Now we talked about the big fella Terrence Avery's going to sit down with 2 personal fouls, and Michael Kernan, the redshirt freshman out of St. Louis, Missouri, will make his first appearance of the season as Jeffrey gets the second.
He's coming back from a concussion bomb. I'll tell you, he looked pretty good in practice yesterday. He worked out with the team in Puerto Rico for the first time. I don't think they wanted to use him tonight, but again, we've talked about the injury and the foul trouble.
Menser from the NBA, 3 doesn't get it. Kernan had no shot at the rebound as Hastings comes down with it. But it's a perfect situation for the big guy. You have inside of a minute, you get your legs loose, give him some playing time so Avery doesn't pick up his 3rd foul.
I think real smart substitution by Royce Waltman.
Haston has 6.
Haston recognized right there what he had. We see Coverdale return into favor, getting into it with Michael Menser.
Well, Royce Waltman had a 13-point lead. It's down to 10, and you'd hate to see Indiana State, or Indiana, if you're an Indiana State fan, even knock down that further, because you know they're going to come out like gangbusters in the second half.
Indiana State with the turnover on the change of possession arrow.
Hornsby out front. Shot clock has been turned off. Fife with 20. Block on him. They're spreading it out. Keep an eye on Hastings. Fife, the running right-hander, too hard. Block tipped it, whistle. And it's going to be a push foul underneath. And it'll go against Dane Fife.
Dane Fife, good recognition. He saw the opportunity to drive, but he lost the handle as he went up and wasn't able to finish. Bad foul, though, because Indiana State walks the length of the floor to shoot the 1-and-1, and Indiana State themselves still not in the bonus. So this last possession, they've got a foul to waste if they so choose.
Well, I think we saw also that they were playing off Dane Fife a little bit and allowing him to take the shot because he's so reluctant to shoot the ball. And a lot of teams did that last year.
Dane Fife is one of the top defenders in the Big Ten. He's actually showing a little more of an inclination to take the outside shot this year. At that time, I thought putting it on the floor and penetrating was a good move, just unable to finish the play.
Bren does not have a field goal, but he has 4 free throws made. Make it 5 out of 6 from the line. And the lead is back to a dozen. Coverdale all the way. Boy, what a great play by Tom Coverdale. Rowerman, it'll be good if it goes, and it doesn't. So Coverdale gets the running right-hander to go. We've played 20 minutes in Terre Haute, Indiana. The lead was 13. It is now at 10, 36-26. The Sycamores of Indiana State leading Indiana. And here's Dan McLaughlin with Royce Waltman. Dan?
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Up by 10 at the half. How do you feel about this game so far?
Well, I think our kids have played well. We just let some things slip at the end, or we could be in a little bit better shape. We just got to regroup and come out with some concentration like we started with.
What did you think the key was in that first half for your team?
Well, I thought we rebounded the ball well, kept them off the boards.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Coach Royce Waltman of Indiana State. They're up by 10. We're at the half. More to come. When we come back, we sit down with Mike Davis.
The Maglite flashlight. Brighter, tougher, made in America. Maglite, the perfect gift to brighten the holidays. Maglite.
Welcome again to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Krieger going to work. Room out there for Mal Warrior.
This is a test. If the play you are currently viewing triggers captivation, a surge of adrenaline, or drool, then you are ready for this year's Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This is only a test.
Warrior couldn't hang on. He got blasted by Josh Morgan. That's the second time tonight that Josh has come.
Want heart-pounding highlights? Then you gotta see this. It's death-defying, car-crashing, fist-flying action. You gotta see this. Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net.
The Southeastern Conference. Your source is SEC TV. Thursdays at 7, only on Fox Sports Net.
It's NFL This Morning on Fox.
Bullway Lanes, voted Elgin's #1 bowling center, is now better than ever. Save money with open bowling special. Every Tuesday and Wednesday from 8 till 11 p.m., only $1.50 per game. And don't miss Sunday morning's Red Pin from 9 a.m. till 1, only $1.25 per game. Bullway's computerized scoring system lets you focus on the fun of bowling. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, try Extreme Bowling, featuring high-energy music and an incredible light show for over-the-top excitement. Visit Bullway Lanes and get in on the action. Bullway Lanes, voted Elgin's #1 place for fun. Can't find the right car for you? Shop VHIX.com. Want access to 500,000 used cars? VHIX.com. Lease or purchase? VHIX.com. Or do side-by-side comparisons? VHIX.com. Need to find the right local dealer? VHIX.com. Find the right car for you. VHIX.com. Roadmap to the automotive world.
Tomorrow at 6 on Fox Sports Net.
At the half, Indiana State and Indiana tonight in Game 1 of our doubleheader on Fox Sports Net. The Sycamores on top by 10. Welcome back. We're at the half here on Fox Sports Net. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great to have you along here from Terre Haute, Indiana. The Sycamores looking to make it 2 straight over the Indiana Hoosiers. It's been pretty tough go for Mike Davis, following a legend. The legend is Bob Knight. He spent 29 years as the head coach at Indiana. Recently, I had a chance to sit down with the head coach, Mike Davis of Indiana.
8 seconds to go. On the start, baseline jump shot in the air. Good!
He was known as the General. For 29 seasons, Bob Knight called Indiana home. But that all ended after he violated a zero-tolerance policy handed down by the institution. He left behind a legacy, 3 national titles, and the distinction of being only one of 13 coaches in college basketball history to record 700 or more victories. So as Indiana launches into their 100th year of basketball, they've turned the program over to 40-year-old Mike Davis.
Being the head coach at Indiana is a great opportunity.
I'm in love with it, but my personality is kind of quiet and laid back, but I can get fired if I need to. I'm having a great time.
In many ways, he's the exact opposite of the coach he replaced. The man from small-town Alabama, who overcame a childhood stutter, speaks with quiet confidence. Also, practices are open to the media. But even though there is change, Davis still uses much of what he learned from Knight as an assistant for 3 seasons.
Coach is a great coach. He's detailed, and that's one of the main things, you know. I'm detailed now. I try to make sure I cover everything.
For the first time in nearly 3 decades, the red sweater was gone and replaced by suit and tie.
And with the lead cut in half at Davis' timeout.
It's like the Green Mile, you know, walking from the locker room to the bench. I was just trying to hurry up and get to the bench because my legs felt weak. I just felt like everybody was watching me, and that's a bad feeling, you know.
For this season, though, it's Davis's program with an asterisk. He's an interim head coach.
I never even look at it that way. I never even remember the interim until someone bring it up. I'm just trying to coach a basketball team, and this is an opportunity for me to do that, so I'm trying to take advantage of it.
Let's go rebound it down here. Let's go. Quick, go.
Davis's fate rests largely with his 11 players, 5 of them playing in their first college season. He would appease his critics by winning. IU hasn't lost more than 6 games in the Big Ten since 1993. He hopes to keep it that way as the Hoosiers play a more up-tempo style this season.
I think we played up-tempo a lot last year. The only difference this year is that now I'm trying to keep it spaced out. It's going to take guys time to adjust, but I think we're getting better day by day.
That's the way Davis has approached it, his first season as head coach at Indiana. A surprise, though, for Mike Davis tonight and the Hoosiers. They're down by 10 double figures in game 1 of our doubleheader. Indiana State doing the job on the inside. They lead it by 10. More to come.
Seattle is surrounded by water. And then it rains. And that means car accidents. When that happens, are you going to have a State Farm agent who knows you personally, or are you going to have no agent and hope for the best?
Over 16,000 State Farm agents.
Our rates are very competitive.
It's no accident. They insure more cars than anyone else.
I'm going to be getting some calls today.
The family has always put in the forefront to protect the quality and the standards set by Adolphus Busch.
The deep sense of pride that my grandfather taught me, that my father continues to teach me.
I think he would be very happy that the generations of his family have practiced what he taught us.
Hey, all these bags are missing their heat wave cores. What's that? Andy, we can't deliver hot pizzas without these cores.
The exclusive core in the Domino's Heatwave bag delivers your pizza hot. Call Domino's now to get freshly made pizza delivered hot to your door. Domino's, bad Andy, good pizza.
My name is Ryo Hazuki. My father was killed by the warlord Lan Di. During my quest for vengeance, I've traveled far and wide and consorted with numerous unsavory characters. But enough about me. Let's talk about you, Nozomi.
Brian? Brian? Brian! Who's Nozomi?
Shenmue on Dreamcast, rated T for teen.
Welcome to Transmegala, 268th floor, Information Services Division.
Yes?
We're from Luftgart. We provide enterprise IT consulting.
T?
ERP, CRM, and ASP management.
K?
24/7 apps hosting.
I already have one company for every application my division needs.
How's that possible?
I have Quest.
Communications change everything. Ride the light, Quest.
For the first time since 1908, the Hoosiers have made a trek to Terre Haute, and they're down by 10 at the half here on Fox Sports Net. This is game 1 of a doubleheader here tonight on Fox Sports Net. Later, we'll send it out west. We'll do that right now for a preview. Here's Steve Fiziak and Marcus Johnson. Guys?
Thanks, Dan. We're at the McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona, where most of you will be joining us at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific for the second half of our doubleheader as number 5 Arizona hosts the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And Steve Fisiak along with Marcus Johnson. And on Saturday, Arizona was number 1, playing Purdue, lost by 3 points. And they fell to 5th in the nation. That had Lute Olson, their coach, saying, hey, guards, get the ball inside of the big guys.
A good idea for both basketball teams tonight. For Arizona, they've got Michael Wright. Michael Wright, 6'7", about 225, strong inside. He can dominate the paint area, but he's not getting enough shots. Just 11 field goal attempts a game. That's not enough for Gonzaga. Casey Cal, receiver. I really like this guy. He is not afraid of anybody. Doesn't back down. He blocks shots. He knocks down the medium-range jump shot. The recurring theme has got to be feed you, big people, please. Feed us. We like that, man. You got to feed us.
Sometimes you got to let the big dog eat, huh?
Feed us, please.
Gonzaga, Arizona, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Right now, let's go back to Dan in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Thank you, Steve. Sounds like a great matchup tonight out west in Arizona. In this game, game 1 of our doubleheader, Indiana State rolling over Indiana. Double figures a lead at the half. They lead it by 10.
When I have arthritis pain, my whole life stinks. The pain feels like a knife stabbing right underneath my shoulder blade. BC works fast. It hurts 1 minute and it doesn't hurt the next.
When I have arthritis pain, it would take me twice as long. BC powder takes effect almost immediately, and I get the relief that I'm looking for.
When I have arthritis pain, it feels like sand in my joints. I'll go get a green BC, and it's like the sand's gone. It lets me be mobile again. Can't quit work. The bill collectors won't let me.
Introducing the new Chicken Fiesta Melt from Taco Bell. It's so good, it's practically perfect.
Sir, could you please try it before you mess with it?
Grilled white meat chicken smothered in Fiesta salsa and 3 kinds of cheese melted just the way you like it, to perfection. Get it for a limited time at the Bell.
Hey, you gotta have it. Catching. Sometimes you're in the wrong position because you don't look down.
Hitting. Try to hit down on the ball.
Are you a winner in the real game, the game of life?
You spell love, T-I-M-E.
Gary Carter, Javier Lopez. From the old school to the new school.
Old school?
Instruction and inspiration. Call 1-877-THE-MEC or connect with the MEC at themec.com.
Every coach should have one.
Every player should have one. Everybody should have
one.
Part of the fun of being an AT&T broadband customer is that there's always something good on. For everyone. All the time. That's one thing that will never change.
Hi, I'm Kathy Koo. With AT&T Digital Cable, you don't have to buy expensive equipment to get the latest in technology. Unlike satellite TV, you never have to worry about replacing obsolete equipment. Call us to find out why digital cable is the smarter choice.
From the law offices of Ronnie Lynn Deutsch.
Do you owe back taxes? Business or personal, the IRS is now reconciling back-owed taxes, levies, liens, payroll taxes, as well as penalties at a fraction of what's owed. Qualified tax professionals will negotiate and resolve your tax nightmares. Call now before the program ends. We can help, and all calls are confidential.
Call 800-690-3883 now.
Last year, Indiana State in Bloomington won by 3. Tonight at the half, they're up by 10 at home. Ron P.J., with the exception of the first 4 minutes, this game has been dominated by the Sycamores.
Absolutely, Dan. You look at the numbers, it is a lethal combination if you're Indiana. You've taken less shots in the ball game. You've turned the ball over a dozen times. That hurts. Well, that hurts. And again, Indiana State, after a rocky first couple minutes, has just really done a job. And it's been keyed by the bench, specifically Terrence Avery. See Matt Wren deliver the pass over the top. Avery with the great finish inside off the fast break look. But he hurt them in a lot of ways. Michael Menser with the penetration. movement. Lays it off again, Terrence Avery with the easy look in the paint. Keelan Block takes the jump shot. It doesn't go. Who's there for the rebound? Terrence Avery. He's already beyond his average. Big bench scoring, 17-4 for Indiana State. That's the difference. Tom Coverdale for Indiana with the penetration. One of the few times ISU doesn't help. Kirk Haston, this is the guy who has to get going for Indiana. They have to get him more looks. Dane Fife with a good pass right there. Again, he finds Haston, but too many of the Indiana turnovers are occurring while they're trying to get Haston the ball. You see the numbers, all the stats in favor of Indiana Hoosiers. Bench scoring to me, the big one, and turnovers, 12-4. But you know what? So far this year, Indiana has come on like gangbusters in the second half, and we still have 20 minutes of basketball left. Second half straight ahead.
It's not just about making plans. It's about making a difference. It's about neighbors and taking an interest rather than merely earning it. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
As soon as he hit 30, Dad started losing his hair.
I had it when I needed it.
So I knew it could be in the cards for me. And at the first sign of fallout, I checked it out with a dermatologist. And he said Rogaine every day, right at the source of the problem. I've used Rogaine for 2 years now, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have.
Rogaine. Recommended more by dermatologists than any other treatment.
It's stronger than heredity.
Need help sending gifts? We've got extra staff and longer hours to relieve that holiday stress. Just stop by your local mailboxes, etc. We'll take it from here. This holiday season, shop on eBay.com and get preferred pricing on shipping from mailboxes, etc.
You could call me a former Blackhawk. You could call me a hockey analyst. But if you really get down to it, I'm just one lucky Blackhawks fan.
Catch Troy Murray on Chicago Sports Tonight, before, during, and after every Blackhawks game on Fox Sports Net.
Tonight on the Chicago edition of the 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report, here from Blackhawks Steve Sullivan and Michael Nylander as they talk about their newfound success, plus plenty of college hoops highlights of the regional tonight at 11.
Mike Davis looking concerned, and he should. His team is down by 10, 36-26. But as we mentioned, you can see right now Indiana what they do in the first half. But in the second half, no team has had more than 10 field goals against them. That's impressive, and that is one of the reasons why they outscored their opponent by 11 in the second half. Well, it's a good sign. They were able to come back against Pepperdine and against South Alabama. But I don't know. This is an away game, not in Bloomington. That's going to be an offensive foul, and that could be a costly one because that is Conte's third foul. Jabril Conte just unable to stay on the floor. Barely lost 5 minutes in the first half with 2 quick fouls. You can't get one much quicker than that 9 seconds into the second half. And Brian Geeson is out with that knee injury. So you have 2 of your starting 5 already, 1 out, 1 in foul trouble. But Conte is staying in. Now he comes up with a defensive play. Jeffries really didn't hustle for that ball. Messer to Wren. Wren inside. The reverse won't go. Rebound. Wren tracks it down. And again, Indiana State hitting the boards on the offensive side. 8 offensive rebounds for Indiana State. Only 2 for the Hoosiers. Block all the way. Newton got a piece of it. Now they're saying it belongs to... Mike Sancier pointing the other way. Sam Banks is looking at him, asking, making sure he had the call right. He said, yes, he did. Well, he kind of pointed both directions there for a second. Now here's Tom Coverdale, did a great job in that closing seconds of the opening half. Now he pulls the trigger on the 3. Conte tried to get it, drops into the hands of Wren. 3 Indiana State guys went for that rebound, knocked it loose. They didn't win the Missouri Valley Conference last year with great offense. What they won it with was great defense. Absolutely solid inside. They had the defensive player of the year and the player of the year in Nate Green, and they have not lost any of that defensive intensity. And that'll reset the shot clock back to 35. And I think what we've seen tonight is a characteristic of Royce Waltman's team is that this is a very unselfish team.
It's an unselfish team. You need 5 people to be a good team defensive unit, and that's what they have, but also the willingness to share the ball on the offensive end.
Avery, tough shot, won't get it to go. Newton takes it away from Red and takes a blink on the hit.
I don't think Terrence Avery can start. They need to bring him off the bench.
Yeah, really. Oh, my! Jeffrey Newton, the sophomore out of Atlanta. The surprise last year, no surprise on that, though.
Down to 8, and Indiana State did a poor job getting matched up in transition.
Now that Indiana defense begins to tighten. Block running Dane Fife all over the floor, but not going anywhere. Menser's pull up. Coverdale had a hand on his face. Conte tried to get it into the hands of Jeffrey Newton.
Indiana State started the game 1 for 7, and it looks like they're starting the second half the same way.
Coverdale again. He loves that little scoop shot, and he gets it again. Coverdale with 6 in the ball game, and the lead is down to 6. And now the crowd getting into it. They're scoring the last minute, 18, 9-2, and Royce Waltman wants to talk about it.
I think this is a good timeout. Again, 6-point lead, still a pretty nice lead, but exactly what Mike Davis wanted for his Indiana Hoosiers to come out, to get into this game. Now they can build that bridge to those early season games we've talked about. Against Texas and against Temple, it wasn't enough.
Talk about that transition defense not matching up. That's the result.
Michael Kernan. They need to do a much better job. They got back and just didn't see it, and he's right there over the top at the finish. Jeffrey Newton inside Coverdale. He just senses he can go inside on Michael Menser whenever he wants. He's taking him, and Indiana State uncharacteristically not helping him out. 3 times Coverdale's dribbled the ball from outside the 3-point line, gotten all the way to the rim.
Well, I think now that Royce Waltman's going to dip into his bench and bring in Marcus Howard, who just checked in, and he's going to be checking in the lineup. For defensive purposes, they're also getting Conte out because he's got the 3 personal fouls. So now you take out a guy 6'7" who plays in that front court, and you have to put a guy in that's 6'3". They're losing some height, but maybe gaining some defense.
Well, they had some success when they went with the smaller players. They went with the smaller players by necessity in the first half, and it turned out to be a good thing. But what's gotten them in trouble early, they've had a couple of good looks inside and just couldn't finish. They got to the basket and couldn't finish. Jabril Conte just can't play. He can't get going in the game, can't stay on the floor long enough.
That really hurts this team. Block, no place to go. Jeffries covering up on Wren. Now Wren has a step. Paced a nice job. Newton got a piece of it right back into the hands of Wren. Royce Waltman wanting to push. Howard working on Newton. And a double dribble is going to be called, and we'll go the other way with it.
The mistake Marcus Howard made was trying to dribble it again. Anytime you fumble the ball, you can always pick it up. It was all right if he had just picked the ball up on the floor. He continued to dribble. That was the mistake that caused the violation.
Now Indiana can whittle down that lead. Indiana State yet to score here in the second half, and 3 minutes have gone by. The lead is at 6. Coverdale inside. Jeffries hangs in the air. Count the basket. We have a foul.
Great post-up look. Indiana brought the ball to the strong side of the floor and just had 2 players exchanging passes. They're going to deliver the ball down inside. No question where they wanted to go. Coverdale with a good feed. Late help coming over by Terrence Avery. Jared Jeffries just hangs in the air. Another split second and finishes.
And Avery now with 3 personal fouls. Is Jeffries now with 9 points in the ball game. And the lead is down to 3.
Sycamore's badly in need of a basket.
Have not scored in the second half. 3:15 gone by. Block, dangerous pass. Fakes the screen on Coverdale. That Indiana defense has really gotten about 100% better than that first half. The seams are tight. Block to Avery. Avery to turn. Newton got a piece of it. Everybody fighting. Block comes out of it. Good hustle.
We got a reset on a 35-second clock, and I think that was a mistake. When they came out with the rebound, there was 3 or 2 seconds on it.
Yeah.
They reset the shot clock. Mike Sancerre going over. I don't know how they're going to settle this one, because clearly when the Sycamores came up with the rebound, it was 3 or 2 seconds on the clock. Should not have been reset. Mike Davis standing right in front of us, and he's telling him it's a violation.
Well, I think he's really mad because the last possession of Indiana State, they also reset the shot clock, and they weren't supposed to. It's the second time it's happened. And I think they're going to put 2 seconds up on the clock.
That's a break for Indiana State, because I don't know if they recognize as he was dribbling out down inside. You see the look inside. Terrence Avey tries to go over. Look at Newton and Jeffries all over it. Couldn't get it up. Keelan Block comes up with another offensive rebound for Indiana State. He's got his back to the clock. I'm sure he doesn't realize the time. Ball did not hit the rim. It should not have been reset. It's going to be a break, though. If they put 2 seconds on the clock and give Indiana State the ball out of bounds, which is really the only thing you can do, it's an opportunity for them to at least get off a shot they probably would not have got.
How about from a subconscious nature almost, the fact that Indiana was really rolling, got things going. Now we have this 2-minute, 3-minute lull. I mean, the momentum seems like all of a sudden it has come to an abrupt halt.
Well, the lull could help Indiana State, but only if they can put the ball in the basket.
Absolutely.
They can't put the ball in the basket. They came up with another offensive rebound that time. Their spacing wasn't as good that time. There was a little more standing around, and even though they tried to run one pick-and-roll play over there, all the Indiana players were able to converge on one side of the floor.
Well, the bad news is Palm Beach County has sent up officials to run the shot clock, so that's the bad news here tonight. And they're demanding a recount.
Well, Mike Sancerre is explaining to Mike Davis what happened. Mike Davis not having any of it. He's going to take it to the Supreme Court, I'm sure.
We can get a bunch of Chad jokes in now, can't we?
Well, we need a quick shot. Indiana State's going to have to set a screen. Whoever comes off that screen is going to have to catch it and shoot it right away.
Menser puts it up, has it rejected by Fife. We're going the other way with it.
Much
Good
ado
defense
about
again.
nothing.
Absolutely. Dane Fife being guarded by Block. Coverdale trying to post on Michael Menser. Sees the double from Block. Walked with it, dragged the pivot foot. And another turnover for Indiana, but that's only their first here in the second half. Indiana State had a 10-point lead at halftime. It's down to 3. We'll be back.
Where can you find a soybean that yields up to 3.5 bushels better in reduced tillage? Introducing residue-proven varieties from Asgrow. Soybeans bred specifically for fast emergence, strong disease resistance, and yields up to 3.5 bushels higher in reduced tillage systems. Look for the new residue-proven arrow at your Asgrow dealer. It's your sign of a more profitable soybean.
It's the fastest growing sport in the country. A sport defined by performance, determination, and teamwork. The pros know when conditions lean to the extreme, you gotta go with the performer. And the 66 team is driven to perform. To protect your engine start to finish, drive with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Premium Quality Motor Oil.
Proof again that Phillips 66 is the performance company.
Great coaches. Great players. Great finishes. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. No, Indiana State is the champion for the first time in 21 years. 94 years strong. The Missouri Valley Conference. 36-33 is our score. Indiana State leading the Hoosiers of Indiana with 15:53 left in the second half. Coming up later tonight, the National Sports Report. The National Sports Report featuring news, opinions, and highlights from a fresh perspective. Tonight, how about a little open mic with Bill Russell? Terry Bradshaw and Tim Brown will be on the show. Plus an update on the Ray Caruth trial. That'll be following our college basketball doubleheader, which of course is Gonzaga and Arizona, with Steve Piziak and Marcus Johnson following our contest.
Keelan blocked with the penetration, but he goes right into a sea of at least 3 Indiana jerseys, not able to come up with the ball. Fortunately for Indiana State, and underneath out of bounds.
Indiana State still looking for their first points and field goal of the second half. Lock to Howard. 15 to shoot. Coverdale doing a nice job on Michael Menser. He shadowed him the entire night. Wren lost it. Coverdale comes up with a loose rock, and here comes Fife. Boy, that Indiana defense has just put the clamps on Indiana State's offense. Newton inside, tries a little up and under. No, he was pushed on the play. We have a foul.
Good help from the weak side. Referee Mike Sanzier felt he was a little too aggressive. But again, aggressive defense right now from Indiana State would be good. When you're struggling for a basket, you can create one with your defense or come up with an offensive rebound or get to the free throw line. Sometimes shots just won't go for you.
Already the third team foul. That was the second on Wren. And you can see Indiana 14 turnovers in the ballgame, but their defense is making up for it here in the second half. Fife down low. Hastings turnaround, quick shot over Avery, and he buries his first field goal of the second half, and the lead is 1.
Game is completely turned around. Indiana State now with the turnovers. Indiana with the good offense and spacing.
The lead was 13 by Indiana State. Bad pass. Coverdale comes up with a save. Block's just going to let it go out of bounds. Hastings did a nice job posting up on the previous play.
Yes, he did. Dane Fife recognized he's got Terrence Avery on the top side. Hastings just gets it and turns and knocks it right there. Indiana's key in this run with their defense, but the more they can get Hastings involved in the offense, the better it's going to be for the Hoosiers.
And Browerman's checked into the lineup for Indiana State, replacing Howard. Avery with a right-handed shot. He hasn't reached the rim yet. Thought he got hit. So did Royce Walton. Indiana with a chance to take the lead. Coverdale inside. What a shot again by Tom Coverdale. His 8th point of the game. Avery inside, and he misses the bunny shot.
Indiana State did a good thing. They pushed the ball and got a layup for it, but weren't able to finish. Jared Jeffries clearly finishes on this end.
It's timeout time for Indiana State because Conte wants to come back into the lineup. Indiana State now 6 minutes and 15 seconds. They have yet to score a point in the second half. Their 10-point halftime lead is now a 3-point deficit. How about that in the second half? 10 zip on points in the paint.
Well, that was the big concern for the Indiana State coaches coming into this game inside. First half, they were able to overcome it. Tom Coverdale continues to get into the paint all night. At least there was help that time, but great double clutch in the finish.
Jeffries' little jump stop, finger roll inside. Jeffries with a rejection, but he draws the foul on Wren.
Good execution by Indiana State, and it's an out-of-bounds play that gets them their best look so far. Gets Matt Wren to the free throw line, but again, stuck on 36. They've got to knock down these two shots and take a deep breath. Plenty of time to go, but it's easy for us to sit here and say 13:37 to go, we're playing at home, and that's what Royce Walton is thinking. His players right now are just devastated because they know they can't put the ball in the basket.
Still can't. Wren now 5 of 7 from the line, all 5 of his points.
Whatever Mike Davis says at halftime, he might want to think about saying before the game. Because if Indiana plays 2 halves like they played the second half all year, they're going to have a great season.
The first points for the Sycamores in the second half. Now they need a defensive stop. Jeffries walks with it again. His second travel, the pivot foot did leave the floor.
Just a little bit, a half a step ahead of himself. That's the poise that will come with experience.
No, he's going to be a good one. He has got long arms, great moves, hands of a guard, body of a forward. Inside, Wren throws up the prayer, and it is answered.
Just who should make the play, the seniors. Mike Menser finds Matt Wren underneath. Wren over 3 Indiana players. Up, gets the defense in the air and puts it high off the glass.
Now the double team on Hastings. Tries to go around it. Fife will launch the three, and he buries it.
Talked about Dane Fife not looking for a shot. He's 4 for 10 now from the three-point line this season. A reluctant but a good three-point shooter.
That's his first points of the ball game, and the lead is back to 3 for the Hoosiers. Conte is going to be fouled by Haston. That will be his second personal foul.
Another underneath out-of-bounds situation for Indiana State.
Now both teams now with 3 team fouls. Just about 7.5 gone by. Spencer isn't quiet. In and out. Rebound Newton.
Pretty good look, just didn't go, and Indiana now coming up the floor. You know they're going to want to go down inside.
Fife tries to set a pick to get Haston open on the block. From the right block with the left hand, count it.
Kirk Haston just too big, excuse me, Ronnie, for Jabril Conte, particularly with the foul trouble. He just turned and shoots effortlessly right over him. Little left jump hook.
Well, to tell how valuable he is, he had 7 double-doubles last year for the Hoosiers, and Indiana won every one of those games. And he has double-doubles in 3 or 4 games this year. And there's Jabril Conte with 2.
Indiana State settling in on the offensive end now. They need to get some kind of hold against the interior offense.
When nice Jeffries. Fife tries to go for the steal. Block had it open, held it up. Wren looking to drive, working on Jeffries. Fife takes a $5 bill out of his pocket, and Wren is called for the foul. That is number 3 on Matt Wren.
We talked about they've got to get Kirk Haston more involved. There it is, inside, right over Jabril Conte.
Tinting your car windows is a good defense against the sun's dangerous UV rays. And it's a good way to keep your car cooler.
And now, with Formula One window film, you don't have to worry about the film bubbling, turning purple, or changing the look of your car.
It's practically invisible.
And every Formula One installation has a lifetime warranty.
Now that's comforting.
Call 1-800-653-1367. Call now.
Gamescape, your one-stop. Fox News Channel, the most powerful name in news. Neil Cavuto, Brit Hume, Shepard Smith. Powerful coverage. Wall Street, Washington, the world. Bill O'Reilly, Hannity and Combs, Paul Azan. Powerful insights, confronting the politics, the newsmakers, and the issues. Fair and balanced. Fox News Channel, the most powerful name in news. We report, you decide.
What if you could be far away and still be close to everyone and everything that's important to you? If you could talk to anyone in your family the instant you thought about them? If you could have the information you need come to you when you wanted it? And you had the power to make all the pieces of your life come together more than you ever imagined? Welcome to the future. Wireless from AT&T. Your world, close at hand.
Basketball on Fox Sports Net comes your way from Terre Haute, Indiana. Right now with 11:21 left in the ball game. Indiana leading Indiana State by 3. Dan McLaughlin, you talk about Indiana's press guide. Not much mentioned about the former coach.
And that's something that's very interesting. From a national perspective, you would think that head coach Mike Davis is under the gun, in the shadow of Bob Knight. That's not the case, though, when you walk on the campus of Bloomington. When you walk on that campus, one picture of Bob Knight, the media guy, the all-time winningest coach in Indiana history. There's a little doll in the IU gift shop. That's not for sale, guys. Not much mention of Bob Knight.
Well, Dan Fife calls the timeout quickly, or Dane Fife calls the timeout quickly, but I think the formula is simple for Mike Davis. he wins this year, he may get the job. I think it's quite simple.
He's got a great opportunity, but there's no excuse for that. A lot of tough things went down. But I mean, when you don't have mention of one of the best, if not the finest college coach of all time in your media guide, that's a charade.
But the career that Coach Knight had at Indiana, unbelievable. 3 national titles, 5 Final Fours, 11 Big Ten titles. But I think the disturbing trend that got a lot of people is the way Indiana, the last couple of years, since about 97, they didn't perform well in the second half of the season. They had a great non-conference season, but when they got in the Big Ten, their winning percentage hovered around 56%. Now Indiana State trails by 3, needing a stop defensively. 11 minutes left to play in the ball game. Jeffries, nice stop, nice shot, offensive foul on Jeffries. That should be number 3 on Jared Jeffries.
We talked about Matt Wren always gets the toughest matchup. He's playing against Jared Jeffries, and he just stayed in position, forced him to go over the top. But shooting in the second half, unbelievable. Indiana 8 out of 9. Indiana State 2 out of 12, and that's been their last 2 attempts.
They went to the 13:36 mark before they got their first point of the game, and now Indiana State turning it over. And one thing this all has done is taken the crowd of almost 11,000, the sellout crowd, been sold out for 2 weeks out of this game. Jeffries, I'll show you how to do it.
Quick feet inside that time, recognized the defense, split it, long step right to the rim.
13 points now for Jeffries. Indiana now +9 on points in the paint. They were down at one point of this ball game in the paint. Shot clock at 15. Conte over Haston. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
Jabril Conte obviously settled down for the first time in the game. First time he's been able to stay on the floor for a couple of minutes. He's given Indiana State somewhat of an inside presence now.
He is the blue-collar guy. He's the warrior of this team. Coverdale lost the handle into Block's hand.
The best job Memphis has done defensively on Coverdale's penetration.
Bowerman gives it up. Conte with the dunk.
As always, defense keys your fast break. Real good defensive possession by Indiana State. They get out on the break and get the easy finish inside.
What did I say about the crowd was taken out of the game? I'll take it back.
Well, this is the learning experience we talked about for this young Indiana team.
Hastings sees the double from Wren and Conte. Conte may have gotten a piece of it. Indiana State a chance to regain the lead.
They're looking for Conte inside again.
Block. Wren lost it. Walked with it.
Norman with a good look. He forces the defense to come and play him always on a fast break. Go to at least the free throw line. Drew the defense to him and just laid off the easy pass. Not going to get credit for anything but assists, but Matt Browerman made that play.
Well, Jared Odell, number 43, and Kyle Hornsby, number 32, checking in for the Hoosiers. Well, Royce Waltman has lost the tie. It is gone. Mike Davis lost the jacket in the first half. 1 point Indiana lead with the basketball. Conte playing with 3 fouls on Jeffries. Not getting much help. Ball still loose, still loose, still loose. It's a scrum, first down, possession arrow. Belongs to Indiana.
The players on both teams trying to call a timeout. Neither team had possession. The referee's just waiting for the play to end. More like a rugby strike.
It was just a nice try. Both guys are trying to call timeout. You got to have the ball before you call timeout. A little technicality there. We'll figure it out. 15 on the shot clock for the Hoosiers. Hornsby, spot-up shot. Rebound, Avery. And he just threw it away. And I'm glad we didn't have any open water.
Matt Browerman with the good play, unable to regain his footing, so he tried to save the ball in bounds. Goes out of bounds. IU with the fresh 35.
Big break for the Hoosiers. Mike Davis's team with a 1-point advantage. Mentor just picks it right out of Jared Odell's hands. And Coverdale commits the foul. That is number 3 on him. So Jeffries has 3, Coverdale has 3, and Fife has 3 for the Hoosiers. Conte, Wren, and Avery all with 3 for Indiana State. Once again, Brian Geeson out because of the knee injury. Whistle and a foul inside.
Good execution by Indiana State. You see a couple of the Indiana players talking to each other, didn't call the screen. Underneath out-of-bounds plays have been big for Indiana State. They've executed very well. It's helped to get them back in the game. When they were struggling to score, underneath out-of-bounds play was one of the factors that got them going. Keelan Block gets a friendly roll right there. And we've got a tie game with 8:20 left.
Indiana State won last year, 63-60 in Bloomington, trying to get their first consecutive wins over the Hoosiers. Newton back up off Indiana's bench. He'll check back into the lineup. Fife cuts into the paint. Hornsby back to Odom. Odom with a running right-handed. Doesn't get it. Conte the rebound.
Never had control as he went up.
Indiana State looking to regain the lead. They led by 10 at halftime.
You need to change sides of the floor. If you keep it on one side, the defense is just going to converge on that side of the floor.
Wren on Jeffries, no place to go. Plenty of time on the shot clock at 12. Menser has to give it up to Conte. He bought a break there. Menser inside. What a play.
Great look by Jabril Conte. He drew the defenders to him. They doubled him and left Mike Menser alone underneath. Smallest guy on the floor scores in the paint.
And Mike Davis is going to want to talk about it. They're standing at the Holman Center.
Good timeout by Mike Davis. Momentum, which we spent so much time talking about, clearly swung back to the white and blue. Mike Davis wants to talk to his young team. Michael Menser makes the play. Here's the penetration. Good help defense. Nothing to do. He unloads the ball to Jabril Conte, but you see 2 Hoosiers go for him. Mike Menser move without the ball. Easy layup and a great look from Jabril Conte.
And Jeffries was coming over quickly for that. That was a quick shot by Menser. Well, our college basketball doubleheader will continue immediately following our game. It'll be Gonzaga versus number 5, Arizona. Steve Pizziak and the great UCLAer Marcus Johnson standing by. Most of you will be able to see that ball game. Once again, Arizona and Gonzaga coming your way right here on Fox Sports Net. Marcus Johnson, he could play that game, couldn't he? He couldn't bet.
Marcus Johnson could still play the game.
He still could.
He does such a good job for Fox.
But you know what?
We want to leave him there, but
his son beats him now, though.
7-zip run for the Sycamores right now in the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And when Indiana State was in trouble, their veteran players stepped up. What Mike Davis needs right now are some of his veteran players to step up. You got to think that's Kurt Haston if they can get him the ball.
Haston with 4 points in the second half, had 6 in the first for Coach Davis.
Of course, if they get him the ball right now and he's on the bench, I don't think he's going to be able to do a real lot.
It won't help. Haston is sitting on the bench. Jeffries now the real offense out there. Odell also able to score. Odell trying to post up on Wren on the left block. Newton inside. Wren takes it right away from Odell again. Wren is so active defensively tonight.
Usually you say it's whoever scores the last bucket. I think it's whoever makes the last turnover is going to lose the game tonight.
2-point Indiana State lead. 20 on the shot clock. Haston back up off the bench. Bowerman for 3. Buries it. Bowerman's 6th three-pointer of the year. The lead is 4. Hornsby inside. Newton forces the shot. Doesn't get it. Wren had position and got the rebound.
I thought they might push it. Matt Wren content to pull the ball out. And there's the open look in transition.
And now Jeffries with the rebound. Davis wanting him to push the ball, and he does. Coverdale will launch the 3. Newton knocked it out of bounds. It'll belong to Indiana State.
We see the look here. Indiana State with a good job. Michael Menser with it, but he skips the ball across the court. We see a real good screen by Matt Wren. The other Matt, Broerman, knocks the three down.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Introducing a shockingly refreshing new lemon lime. Sierra Mist.
Come on, Joey, let's have some of Grandma's old recipe ice cream.
Wow, it sure looks good.
It is, Joey. There's a whole world of wonderful flavors in her old recipe ice cream. It starts with fresh cream and cane sugar, then in go all kinds of other great tasting treats.
Gosh, did Grandma make it herself?
Of course not, Joey. She goes to the store and buys it like everybody else.
Taste the premium quality of old recipe ice cream from Prairie Farms.
We were there when you babies really began to boom. We were there when you were a generation on the road. And when you were surrounded by the children of peace and love. We were even there when you had children and love. It's not always peace. And now that you're on the other side of the generation gap, there's no one better to talk to about your changing life insurance needs than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
The second half has been a game of runs. Indiana started out the second half with a big run, taking over the lead, but in the last 3:55, the run has belonged to Indiana State, as they have outscored the Hoosiers 10-0, and that is why they have the 5-point advantage.
Well, they're finally putting the ball in the basket, but more importantly, they're taking care of the ball. After 7 quick turnovers, which gets them up to 11, they started taking care of the ball. Indiana with 8 turnovers, 20 for the game.
Indiana State has to take advantage of this situation. They've gotten the lead, they've gotten the momentum, the crowd back in. With Indiana, you got to keep putting nails in the coffin. Menser shot, Wren tried to get the offensive rebound. Fife kept him from getting a good handout.
Great effort by Matt Wren. Michael Menser working to even get his shot off. Good defense that time by Tom Coverdale.
Wren has not been out of the ball game tonight. Coverdale looking inside. Haston with a right-handed hook, and he is lethal with that right hand.
Big hook over the top. Jabril Conte got away with a little bit of a bump. There's not much he can do unless Indiana State comes with a double team if Kirk Haston gets the ball down that close to the basket.
Indiana last year 16-4 when Haston had better than 15 points. Tonight he has 12. 6 in the first half, 6 in the second. Block for 3. In and out. Rebound controlled by the Hoosiers.
Good recognition, Indiana. Good help defense. Yielded the open shot in the perimeter, but couldn't convert.
Haston now gets help from Wren on the double. Inside, Jeffries count the basket. We have a whistle.
Good double team right there. It came with the quick double team. Ball came loose, and Jared Jeffries right there. Jeffries to Coverdale. Haston there. This is the bucket over the top. The hook. This time he delivers it, even though it's deflected. Jeffries comes up with the ball ahead of Mike Menser. Once again, we've got a tie game, 4:48 left.
And we are tied at 51, 4:44 to play. Foul, by the way, was on Menser. That was his first. Wren. We'd like to welcome those of you joining us with Indiana and Indiana State from a sold-out Holman Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. Over 11,000 on hand for this interstate meeting, along with P.J. Carlissimo and Dan McLaughlin. I'm Ron Thulin. Indiana State led by 13 in the first half, 10 at intermission. Indiana came rolling back at the start of the second half to take the lead, as Indiana State went almost 7 minutes without a basket, but then Indiana State has come back. And now we are tied at 51 with 4:21 to play in the ball game.
Big free throw miss. Indiana State 10 for 15 from the field. IU only 5 for 7. That's been a weakness all year for the Hoosiers.
Jeffries playing with 4 fouls, doesn't get it. Hastings shot rejected by Conte. Nice effort by Conte and Browerman to keep the ball alive.
Great play, and Indiana State is in the bonus. They will shoot 1-and-1s the rest.
Conte rejected. Jeffries playing with 4 fouls, still goes for the swat.
Too big to shoot over, particularly when you get that kind of help from the weak side.
Terrence Avery will come back into the ball game, the hero of the first half for Indiana State with 12 points. Hastings baseline. Coverdale gives it up to Fife. 15 to shoot. Again, the double on Hastings. May have gotten away with a walk. Jump ball. And it'll belong to Indiana State on the possession arrow.
A little better rotation that time. The Indiana State players got there on the double team. We've got a great 3:28 left here this evening.
hands-on brewmasters, working with the finest ingredients.
In the barley fields and in the hop fields, everyone has a genuine passion and commitment to upholding the highest standards.
Quality, freshness, attention to detail. Blend those things and you have what Budweiser is all about.
It's not just about saving money. It's about spending time, just dropping by and creating bonds rather than simply buying them. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about knowing you and your dreams.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Want the lowdown on Dodge Durango? Here's where it's best-in-class Magnum V8 power.
This is a national sales alert from Dodge. Effective immediately, you can get low 0.9 financing for 60 months on 2000 Dodge Durango. You can now save more than $5,600 or get up to $2,000 cash allowance. We now return you to your regularly scheduled commercial.
See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Jared Jeffries with 4 personal fouls. He has been the hot hand offensively in the second half, along with Kirk Hastings. Mike Davis's team right now tied at 51 with 3:28 to play in the ball game. Indiana State with 1 foul to give. Indiana already at 17 fouls. And you can see the field goal percentage, but Indiana State has taken more field goal attempts than Indiana. Avery inside has it rejected, and Jeffries takes it away. Coverdale has it.
Terrence Avery with a good move, but just not big enough to finish.
Every possession important now in this ballgame. Jeffries, the running right-hander, won't go, but he draws the whistle in the foul.
Tough shot right there. Matt Wren probably needed to lay off. If Jared Jeffries can finish that play, and he is capable of doing it, you just have to give him the 2 points. You don't want to put him back on the line, although he has struggled all year on the free throw line.
Well, also, you give Matt Wren his 4th personal foul. Indiana now with a 2-point advantage. Whistle and a foul. That'll be on Fife. That'll be his 4th personal foul. Yeah, McLaughlin, you were inside that Indiana State huddle. What was said by Coach Waltman?
Well, Ron, he and PJ are on the same wavelength at this point. PJ, you talked about mixing it up offensively. Get it to the other side of the floor. That's what they talked about offensively. Defensively said, make somebody besides Jeffries beat us. Get up in the passing lanes. Force the issue. Make sure you do that. If you do that, stop Jeffries. We're going to win this game. Guys, back to you.
Jeffries with 17 points. Block now 2 of 3 from the strike. Make it 3 of 4. He has 9 in the ball game, and Indiana State has regained the lead by 1. Now the crowd over 10,000 on their feet. Jeffries sees the double, gives it up. Newton, the high archer baseline, in and out, no good, into the hands of Wren.
Good prescription by Royce Waltman. Make somebody else beat you. It was a good look, but unable to finish.
Wren over Jeffries.
A little bit of a quick look for Indiana State.
Haston posting up on Avery. No double yet. The turn, the high archer, the miss, the rebound. Still loose, block has it, right through Jeffries' hands. Block, Growerman. They got to be careful with the basketball, getting a little careless. Inside of 1:45 to play. Gonzaga, Arizona, coming up after our game for most of you.
You may be here for a while tonight.
That's right. Avery tries it up and under, gives it on. Growerman for three. He had the look he wanted.
Both teams with good looks the last two times down, but you got to be able to put the ball in the basket. Mike Davis wants to make sure what kind of look they're going to get this possession.
So is that a good timeout? I mean, obviously you have 1:24 to play. You got a 1-point advantage. Every possession's important. But is he just in there now telling Jeffries, you've got to make something happen, or is trying to get something for Haston?
I think he's going to go to Haston. I think you got to go with the veteran player. Jeffries can do more, but I think hit the ball down inside to Haston and see what's there. Indiana State comes with the double team. There's going to be an open shot outside.
And for most of you, college basketball doubleheader will continue immediately following this contest, as we will have Gonzaga versus number 5, Arizona. Steve Fiziak, Marcus Johnson are patiently waiting for that ball game to start. And we hope you stay with us. For most of you on our line here on Fox Sports Net. 53-52, Royce Waltman, Sycamores of Indiana State on top. 1:20 to play in the ball game. Haston will try the left block. Conte defensively blocked at it, lost it, got it, whistle, foul, Haston.
Good execution by Mike Davis. All you can do is put the ball in your best player's hands. They got a good look down inside. What you can't do is let Indiana State walk 94 feet and get a 1-and-1 right now. You want to go for the offensive rebounds, but you can't afford a mental mistake, particularly on the road.
But you have Jabril Conte, who really struggled from the free throw line last year at 43%. This year he's only at 50. And he misses. So now Indiana will get a chance with 67 seconds to play. Haston way high. Coverdale working off the screen, has the room, gets bumped. It's a foul. The basket will count.
Good call again by Mike Davis. He called a high pick and roll on top. Coverdale going to the basket. You see his strength come into play right there. He comes in. He's bumped real good by Mike Mentzer, but he's strong enough to withstand that, get it on the glass, and he gets it to fall.
Coverdale with 10 in the ball game and 11. And the lead is 2. 57 seconds to play. The crowd exceptionally quiet considering that it's a 2-point game with 40 seconds. Block to the hole. Jump ball. Indiana should have the possession arrow. No, Indiana State does. No, it is Indiana. It is Indiana. I thought the possession arrow should have been Indiana.
It was. He forgot to move it. Everybody looked to the scoreboard and they saw the arrow pointing the other way. Got a 5.6-second differential now on the 35-second clock.
Now a timeout by Indiana State. But once again, it's that Indiana defense putting the clamps on when you need it. Indiana now with a timeout, 9 team fouls. Indiana State has a couple of timeouts left, and the possession arrow has now swung over to the Sycamores.
Both teams with enough timeouts. 5.6-second differential, which we've talked about. Indiana can afford to spread it out and play it down. Interesting to see whether Royce Waltman gets aggressive on defense or tries to play the possession out. I would think he put some pressure on the Indiana ball handlers outside. You also have to wonder about putting IU on the free throw line. They're sitting on a 2-point lead. You don't want to give them anything easy, but if it gets late in the clock, couple guys out on the floor for Indiana that have really struggled from the free throw line this year.
Well, we are going to see full court pressure by the Sycamores. Coverdale sees a double. Wren trying to hustle back on Jeffries. Coverdale, a little hesitation step. Spread out, and Jeffries is going to be fouled by Block.
They double team. They trapped in the backcourt twice. They trapped in the front court once. It looked like Indiana was going to be content to spread the floor. They're going to foul and make Indiana beat them on the free throw line.
Jeffries 7 of 10 from the stripe tonight. 17 points in the ball game. 11 in the second half. And the lead is 3 with 25 seconds left.
Huge free throw, no opportunity to make this a 2-possession game.
And 19 for the talented freshman. Royce Waltman telling his troops to hurry it up. Block lost it, tipped it. Browerman keeps it alive, but they're a little disorganized with 13 seconds. Coverdale almost picked the pocket. Menser for 3. Buried it! Oh, my!
They were a little disorganized, but you've got a veteran player that knows what to do. With 8.5 seconds on the clock, Mike Menser just pulled up and buried a 3. IU's going to have to inbound the ball. Look at this. Ball got deflected loose by Coverdale. He just arches back and buries the 3. Great recognition now, because really there was no time for anything other than a quick shot. They needed more than one possession. Menser recognized that. He buries it. IU now is going to have to get the ball inbounds and then up the floor.
And Marcus Howard has checked in for Indiana State for defensive purposes. Jeffries, Haston, Coverdale, Dane Fife.
You don't really have the luxury of waiting more than one pass. Jeffries is inbounding the ball. It probably won't be him. They don't steal this inbounds pass. They're probably going to have to foul whoever gets it.
And Conte will commit the foul. That'll be his 4th.
The difference now is even if Kirk Haston is able to make both, we still have the possibility of a 3-pointer to tie the game with 7.1 seconds on the clock.
Only a second went off the clock as Wren comes back in. Howard goes out. And Haston will go to the line. His first trip to the free throw line tonight. He has 12 points in the ball game, 6 in the first half, 6 in the second, 53% on the year from the line.
Well, we talked about Indiana's struggles all year on the free throw line. If they're going to come up with this one, you would think they've got to come up with at least one of these free throws.
The lead is 2.
Indiana State with the chance to either bust it up and take the quick shot or timeout.
Short, doesn't get the roll. Conte, and they're going to push it. 5 seconds. Menser, the pull-up, the 3. Buries it! Oh, my goodness!
Mike Menser, Royce Waltman elected to let his players bring it up and take the quick shot. Menser knew exactly what to do. He pulls up, top of the key, and for the second time in the last...
Bill.
Michael Menser buries the shot. Well, it's funny, we were talking to Royce Waltman 2 years ago. Mike Menser got hurt in the game at Bloomington and wasn't there for the finish. He knows what to do now. Behind the back, pulls up, over Coverdale. 0.9 on the clock when he released it. Great turn, as it should be. Unbelievable look by Menser. started to talk about 2 years ago. Royce Wallman actually felt ISU played better 2 years ago in a game they lost, but Menser had his nose broken early in the game and wasn't able to play. They blew a big lead. Last year he felt they just won because Indiana didn't have a particularly good game at home.
0.5 of a second left. Coverdale to trigger it in. Jeffries turns, shoots. Oh my! Doesn't get it. For the first time, consecutive wins by Indiana State, PJ.
Unbelievable. All you can do is get them a shot. They did a good job. It was a long shot, but they got the ball to Jared Jeffries at half court and wouldn't go. This is the difference in the game. Mike Menser, great poise, squares up, nothing but net with the game on the line, and the second straight Indiana State victory over the Hoosiers.
And they're enjoying it here at the Holman Center. 59-58 is the final. The first game since 1908 between these two teams played in Terre Haute. And Indiana State will remember this one because this ends the series between these two teams. No further games are scheduled. Well, what a way to go out for the Sycamores. They win it 59-58. Final thoughts for Indiana State? I think they've got to be happy.
I think both of these teams got to be thrilled with the way they defend. I don't know if the Gonzaga-Arizona game can live up to this one. We thought this potentially was going to be a great one. It certainly is.
So that's it from Terre Haute, Indiana. The final score, Indiana State wins at 59-58. Next on Fox Sports Net, the Gonzaga Bulldogs visiting the 5th-ranked Arizona Wildcats. For PJ Carlissimo and Dan McLaughlin, I'm Ron Doolan. Thanks for watching. College basketball has been a presentation of Fox Sports Net.
It's been 3 years since Arizona brought home a...
You've seen the highlights. You've read the headlines. Now experience the game from a whole new perspective. The demons within. Monday at 7 on Fox Sports Net.
Mad Rams Indiana State Sycamores are the defending Missouri Valley Conference champions, but now they're experiencing life without Valley Player of the Year Nick Green. Brent says it's time to step up.
You know, we have 3 seniors that plays a significant amount of time, so we're just going to take it upon ourselves. And we've kind of been leaders throughout the years, but we got to probably be a little more vocal this year and kind of teach the younger guys what we're about and what we need to do to win.